to the Imo Laborer. The Imo Laborer is a sponsored program that showcases the Labour Party in Imo State. It showcases the candidates of the Labour Party, their programs, policies, and activities. And that's what the program is all about. Today we are at the premises of Senator Onyewuchi Ezenwa. Senator Onyewuchi Ezenwa is the senator representing Imo East Senatorial District. He's been a two-time Federal House of Rep member before he became a senator. So one can say he's a ranking member of not just the Senate but of the National Assembly. He is now seeking re-election under the platform of the Labour Party. We are at his premises now to interact with him. Relax and enjoy the program. I'm your host, Obidimma Ako. Distinguished Senator, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let me start by first asking you how you feel, how safe you feel considering the insecurity in Nigeria. You are now in the southeast, of course, you're in your house. So how safe do you feel, down here in the southeast?
Well, I think it has become, security has become a major problem. It's not as safe as it should be. It is not terrible, but this is not what we expect. And I will say clearly that this is a failure of leadership, and the government, we have been piling pressure. We have done so much in that direction in the National Assembly by trying to get the executive that control the armed forces and the police to ensure that they provide security for Nigerians. The major responsibility of government is the welfare and security of the citizens. So any government that does not do that could be said to have failed. And clearly, with what we have seen, it is tough for you to move from one community to another community. And some people are holed up in the cities and they can't go back to their villages. Those are the things we're experiencing today in Imo. It is something we haven't experienced before now to this magnitude. I mean, you can't eradicate crime, but you can reduce to the barest minimum. So for now, it is on the very high side. And I'm also using the opportunity to call on the state government and the federal government to ensure that they provide security for Imolites and Nigerians. Okay, so Senator Onyewuchi, you are seeking re-election into the National Assembly. You've been there twice, first as a Federal House of Rep member and then as a senator. So you are a ranking member of the National Assembly. I want to, sometimes there's a misconception on the understanding of the responsibilities of lawmaking in Nigeria. Most times people mistake lawmakers for executives and vice versa. And I want you to explain the role or the duty of a lawmaker. Because sometimes people come, they say you didn't provide this, you didn't provide that. Is it the duty of the lawmaker to provide all of that, or is he supposed to provide it through legislation or whatever? Just shed a bit of light on this. Okay, thank you. And let me say clearly to you that the principal duty and responsibility of a lawmaker is law making. That is our principal responsibility, to make law for the good governance of the country. And we also have a second responsibility, which is oversight. And the Constitution also empowers us in those areas where we make laws. It also gives us the duty and responsibility to oversight those laws we have made, especially in the area of appropriation. When you allocate money to an agency or ministry, the law also gives you the power to go to those agencies and ministries to ensure that those monies are properly utilized and to the benefit of the people. So the major responsibility, one is lawmaking, Then 2, oversight. And for us here, I talked about failure of leadership. Ordinarily, the executive is supposed to do some of the things like projects, providing projects. But what we are doing now is because of the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria today, we are doing various interventions to ameliorate the sufferings of the people. That is exactly what we are doing now. So we also use our position and contact to lobby and attract projects to the constituency. So that is also part of the intervention. For us in Nigeria, you are assessed by 1, the laws you have made, the representation on the floor you have done, being a strong voice for your people. You also assessed by the projects you attract, because that is what the people want to also see. So everything is right or wrong within the context of your society. So you go for what your people want, what they demand. And if they say to you, we are in darkness, if you're making law, they will say, we are telling you we are in darkness, and you are telling us you are making law. Yeah. So you have to look at, what they want. You have to meet their aspirations one way or the other. So that is exactly what is happening now.
Okay, so going by the explanation you've given now, let me now know how have you been able to gauge the needs of your constituency, and to what extent have you been able to ameliorate that in terms of attracting projects and empowerment?
Thank you. I would say I've distinguished myself in that area. Like you know, I have served as a member of the House of Representatives for 2 terms, and before now, after I finished my first term, I was the first person to do a second term, and it was based on performance. I was given the opportunity to do a second term in the House of Representatives, and I also give a very good account of myself in terms of representation, bills, motions, being a strong voice for our people, and attracting projects for our people also. And I have held several town hall meetings and interactions with our people, because I'm home virtually every weekend, and I interact with the people. I know their needs, I feel their pulse, and that is how I'm able to know the projects to attract to our people, and they have been happy with that. I attracted a lot of projects. I gave a lot of employment. I think I can safely say that in terms of giving jobs and getting people into the federal civil service, I have provided the most opportunities for our people. Because if you look at what is going on, most of the people you find in the federal civil service in Owerri Federal Constituency and Owerri Zone were all put in there by me, supported and assisted by me. And today they are all working, rising. And the idea is that they get to a certain stage, they'll be able to bring in others. And that way, we are able to reduce the unemployment. But even when you do all those, you still find out that the unemployment rate is still as high as ever, because you're taking just a little fraction of those in the unemployment market, and you still have an army of unemployed graduates waiting to be offered jobs. And at some point, I went into empowerment. That is where I got that name, Mr. Empowerment. I realized that you cannot get everybody into the federal civil service. So what I now did is, I now started training them on the acquisition of skill that will make them self-reliant. And a lot of people have taken advantage of that. Today, in Owerri Zone, and before now in Owerri Federal Constituency, you find out that you have a lot of young men who have taken their economic destiny in their hands, and they have had the trainings from me. We've trained them in photography, and a lot of them are doing very well in photography. We have trained people in culinary skills, and a lot of them are doing very well. We have trained them in repair of phones. A lot of them are doing well in that area. We have supported businesses. We gave out generators to businesses. We did some intervention for the business people. So that way, you know, our people are becoming more and more self-reliant and empowered.
Okay, so let's talk about your sojourn now on the Labour Party. You are now a member of the Labour Party. What informed your decision to, run under the platform of the Labour Party?
Well, I want to also let you know that you're talking to a comrade. In the House of Representatives, I chaired the House of Representatives Committee on Labour. And so it's a home for me. It's a familiar terrain for me. And when we had His Excellency Governor Peter Obi aspiring first under the platform of the PDP, a lot of us showed keen interest because we felt at the time that he was eminently qualified for the position. And when they brought in the normal political rigmarole and he exited, some of us saw Labour as the next destination. Because we're also looking for a party that will turn around the fortunes of our country, a leader that will turn around the fortunes of our country. And I will say to you that leadership is everything. The story and history of developed nations can be traced to leadership. You look at countries like Malaysia, you look at countries like Singapore, you look at even Ghana, even neighboring countries here. You get a leader that has vision, a leader that is focused, a leader that is honest and sincere. There is no doubt in my mind that a leader with all these qualities will turn the fortunes of the country. It's not just about oil. You have to think outside the box. You have to look at ways to raise revenue. Nigeria is a country that is immensely blessed by God. And if we have the right leadership, Nigeria will be one of the leading nations of the world. We have the material and human resources. So today, a lot of people see the presidential candidate of the Labour Party as that man that will turn around this country, turn around our fortunes, turn around this economy, this dwindling and nosediving economy that we have today. So most of us believe in the ideals of Governor Peter Obi. We believe in the Labour ideals, and that is why we are comfortable in the Labour Party, because it's not going to be business as usual. There has to be a complete new paradigm. There has to be a new paradigm if we have to move forward. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So we have to start doing things differently. And that is the message of hope that Labour Party is bringing. That is what His Excellency Peter Obi is bringing on board. And for some of us who are in Labour Party, who have also done so much to lift our people, ameliorate the sufferings of our people, we are comfortable and at home in Labour Party. And I assure you that Labour Party will take over the reins of affairs of this nation, and Nigeria will not be the same again. Nigeria will be better for it.
Okay. Some of your opponents in other parties, or other parties like, I don't want to mention them, but they have tried to describe what is happening in the Labour Party as a social media noise. You know, you as a candidate of the party, do you align with them, or is there something different?
Inside them, they know it is not noise. They know it is not a social media thing. They know it is real. They know it is on ground. But what they are afraid of has come upon them. It is not about Governor Peter Obi. It is not about Labour. It is about our people wanting change. It is our people showing the direction that this is what they want. And they are following His Excellency Peter Obi because they identify him as that man that will meet their aspirations. And that is why they are following him. So anybody that is dismissing it and telling you is social media, this and that, they know. We have seen the Million Man March, 1 million, 2 million, and people are coming on their own. Nobody is funding them. It's self-funded. People are putting in money for what they believe in. It's unprecedented. We haven't seen anything like that before. Because before you can get crowd, we are politicians, people will go out and bring buses and hire people. I haven't seen a situation where people are bringing out their own money, people are doing their own souvenir, people are coming out from very distant places to come and identify with a project. What we have today is a mass movement. What we have today is a political revolution. And the sooner we understand it, the better, that the people have taken their destiny in their hands. If you don't flow with them over what they want, then as a politician, you are on your own. But they will try to maintain the status quo. Those who benefit, those who are gaining from this oppression and keeping the people down and exploiting the people, they will come with all sorts of machinations. They will come with all sorts of gimmicks. But our people are determined. Those of us in Labour, we are also determined to move this country forward, to offer sincere leadership to our people, to offer focused leadership to our people. And that is what is coming now. It is not just about how much wealth can you accumulate, how much deceit can you give the people. Now, you talked about security. The insecurity we are seeing today is that a lot of people cannot sleep, a lot of people are hungry. Yeah. So you think you're comfortable. Because they are awake, they will keep you awake too. That is how the society works. America is not a bed of roses, but they provide the basic amenities for everybody, so that those who are doing better and greater can enjoy what they have worked for. And what we want is to encourage our people to excel, to encourage our people to work, to let them know that the days of handout, the days of briefcase contractors, those days are gone. So it is a new Nigeria. Okay. So the slogan of a new Nigeria, that a new Nigeria is possible, a new Nigeria is indeed possible.
Okay, the candidature of Mr. Peter Obi, do you see it as an Igbo, do you see him as an Igbo candidate, or probably compensation for the Southeast?
Well, for me, a competent leader must have an origin. A competent leader must come from somewhere. So it happens that Peter Obi is from the Southeast. We are not talking about Southeast matter. Peter is a global brand. He's not just a Southeast or Nigerian brand. He is global because he meets the global requirement of leadership. And for us, he's in a position and very well suited for what is happening now. So for us, we are comfortable with him. We are following and encouraging our people to come. And our people are discerning. They know who is telling them the truth. It is only when they don't have an alternative. But thank God for the electoral reforms. And that is what has given confidence and hope to our people. You can see the number of people coming out to register. People are coming out to register because they now realize that they can make a difference. They now realize that their votes can actually count. So that is why people are coming out. And that is what is worrying those who have kept our people down.
Okay. So talking about this confidence of the public and believing that their votes will count. It can be traced to the 2022 amended Electoral Act, where the electronic transfer of results is included. And one cannot easily forget what transpired before that Electoral Act came to be. At that time, we had a majority of lawmakers, especially from the ruling party and even the major opposition party, stay away. Some voted against electronic transmission. Some stayed away. From Imo State, for instance, or the Southeast, for instance, of the 9 senators, if I'm right. Okay, we're more than 9. More than 9 senators from the Southeast. Okay. Yeah. From the Southeast. But we had 15 senators. We had only 3 of them voting on that day. Yourself, Senator Otasi, and Senator Ininaya Abaribe. Out of 15, just the 3 of you voted for it.
We are more than 3. I know Senator Nachi also voted.
But you are quite few.
Above that.
Yeah,
few.
You are quite
few.
few. But in Imo State here, 2 of the 3 absconded. They stayed away. You were the only person who voted for electronic transmission, which is why Nigerians have confidence in this process today. So what actually convinced you to vote in that direction, knowing that Nigeria, people are alluding that the reason why they decided to vote against it was they were afraid that it may lead to their failure in elections. What gave you the confidence that if you vote in support of that provision, that you win election?
Well, it is based on my interaction with our people. It is based on the service I have offered. It is based on my commitment to the people. And I know that at the right time, they will reciprocate. So I am sure. And for me, I believe that if you do well, the people will vote for you, return you. And if you don't do well, they will ask you to step aside. And that is the democratic process. For me, I believe in credible elections. And I believe that is a panacea for development. Because by the time you elect credible leaders, development will follow. Sincerity of purpose will follow. So I believe that the only way we can save this country is to have a credible electoral process that will midwife good representatives at all levels. So I fought for that process for the electoral reform. I was at the forefront. I canvassed for it. I spoke on the floor and ensured that we followed it up. And thank God today that with the support of other well-meaning Nigerians and the international community, today we have the electronic transmission and we have the electoral reform. And Nigerians are happy and enjoying it. But I am proud to say that I made very key and giant contribution to the success of the electoral process that we have today. And at any time it is being discussed, just like you're talking about it now, history will be kind to some of us who fought and pushed for this electoral reform and giving our people a voice to determine the future of this country.
Okay, finally, Senator Onyeuchi, we have other candidates like you who are in the Labour Party contesting alongside Mr. Peter Obi. But the phrase in town or the movement, some people tend to say that it should be for Obi's support alone. And some try to distance themselves from some of the candidates of the party. And as a ranking senator and a very experienced senator, I want to know what is the relationship between the National Assembly and the performance of a president. You know, if Obi is elected without majority of Labour Party in the National Assembly, will it portend good for him?
Thank you for that question. That's an important question because the issue of electing Peter Obi cannot be treated in isolation. Peter Obi cannot also function in isolation because there are 3 arms of government and the legislature has so much to do with the function of the executive in terms of approving even your nominees, your budget. Without the legislature, there's very little you can achieve. But I want to also say to you, if you elect a president without giving him a majority in the National Assembly, it's a case of sending somebody to buy salt and you send the rainmaker after the person, because the person you have sent will come back with nothing. Because the National Assembly is one body that can frustrate a sitting president. Because when you bring your budget, they will scrutinize and decimate your budget and vandalize your budget. At the end of the day, it is no longer useful to you. So, for those who think if you elect Peter Obi, if you elect Peter Obi alone, you will frustrate him. I'm sure we're all still witness and we remember what happened in Anambra when he was governor. He had an unfriendly legislature and the opposition party was in majority, and you saw he was impeached. He was impeached and he had a very turbulent time with them. So that is what you don't want him to have again. And I'm saying as an experienced legislator that our people should not worry, because when you get into the parliament, you're going to run the programs and agenda of your party. So the people you're electing, they will not have the choice to do anything to the contrary. They will run the program of the party. The president brings something. The first layer of defense for the president is your party people in the parliament. Those are the people that will start fighting the battle of the president first before others will join. So if you don't have them, then you will cripple the president. So these people, when they come to the National Assembly, if you say, okay, let me elect Obi as a president, then I will elect somebody from PRP. The person from PRP will not support Obi in the parliament, because the person from PRP will run PRP agenda and PRP program. When we were fighting for the electronic transmission, did you find any APC person voting in favor? Because he was against their agenda. It was against their agenda. Although one or two, a few of the PDP people at the time, or the opposition at the time, stayed away. But it was in line with what we also wanted as a party. So when they get to the National Assembly, they will do the needful. So if you say, elect this person and not elect that person, we will elect Labour Party from top to bottom. That is the way it works.
All right. Thank you, Senator Onyeuchi Ezenwa, for this interaction. And we hope that subsequently we'll be engaging you for further discussions as the time goes by. Thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dear viewer, here we've come to the end of the program. You've heard it from distinguished Senator Onyeuchi Ezenwa, and we'll come back with another edition of the program, the Imo Laborer, where we'll bring you another encounter with another candidate of the Labour Party. Till we come that time, I'm your host, Obi Mark, and I say bye-bye.